What's happening, people? I hope you're all well. So, Efe Ajagba beats Stephan Shaw over 10 rounds. And the scorecards, it was unanimous. It was 96-94. And it was quite an uneventful fight, let's be honest. It was long-range boxing for the majority of the fight. Long-range boxing. Efe Ajagba and Stephan Shaw both trying to establish their jabs. Efe Ajagba trying to come forward with his jab, and Stephan Shaw trying to backpedal for the majority of the fight, trying to work with his jab. And it was a case where no one dominated the fight. Like, no one dominated. You wouldn't say, wow, that was a clinical, that was a boxing clinic by Efe Ajagba. But no, rather you would say Efe Ajagba just asserted himself a bit more in the fight. I didn't actually notice. I mean, the stats were indicating that Efe Ajagba was significantly outlanding Stephan Shaw. I didn't really see that, to be honest with you. I didn't really see that. Perhaps that was the case. Perhaps it wasn't, because, you know, the stats aren't always going to be accurate. People make mistakes. You know, they're not always going to be accurate. But, you know, if the stats were accurate, then Efe Ajagba outlanded Stephan Shaw significantly. Efe Ajagba, I'd say his jab had more authority to it. So I would say that, you know, he was going on the front foot. He was establishing his jab somewhat, and his jab had more authority to it than Stephan Shaw. And I think Efe Ajagba hurt Stephan Shaw at some point in the fight. I can't remember exactly what round it was, but he hurt Stephan Shaw against the ropes. And I would say that, you know, Efe Ajagba had surgery, I think, or treatment to both of his elbows coming into the fight. And perhaps that was a reason why Efe Ajagba may have been jab heavy and not, you know, throwing the right hand with the same frequency as he normally does. But he didn't really let go of that right hand as much as maybe you'd expect. Did I see some improvements from Efe Ajagba? You know, establishing the jab, you could say that's improved. He worked, you know, he went up and down with the levels with his jab. You know, he was jabbing to the head, jabbing to the body, double up with his jab. I can't really say I saw any improvements other than that. With regards to Stephan Shaw, you know, coming in as the away fighter in this fight, I would have thought that he would have gone for it a bit more. But then I've watched Stephan Shaw before, and he's not really an aggressive fighter like that. He's more of a technician. He's the superior technician. But he's the superior technician of the two. But in this fight here, he looked a little bit tentative. He looked a little bit, I'm not going to say scared, but he looked a little bit cautious. I noticed that as soon as the fight started, he looked a little bit cautious. He naturally fights a bit cautious. I mean, I watched him against Joey Dueco, and he looked a bit cautious in like that fight. Maybe that's just naturally how he is. And he also stands in positions with his stance that doesn't allow him to move that much. It's almost like he stands in positions where if he was to get caught, his feet and his stance wouldn't be conducive for him to move out the way of the follow-up punches. So, but overall, Stephan Shaw is a decent technician. You know, he's got a good jab. Despite the reach deficit, he was able to use distance to still get his jab off, which I thought he might be able to do. Unlike Frank Sanchez, Stephan Shaw cannot move as well. Stephan Shaw can move well, but he's not as fluid as Frank Sanchez on that back foot. And I think that was what allowed Frank Sanchez to really get off in the fight against Efe Ajagba, whereas Stephan Shaw wasn't able to move like Frank Sanchez. Also, Frank Sanchez probably has a bit more pop to his punches than Stephan Shaw, because you really noticed in the Frank Sanchez fight, he unloaded. I think Efe Ajagba fell in or tried to land some power punches against Frank Sanchez, let his hands go. And then he was met with some hard counters by Frank Sanchez, and that put Efe Ajagba in his shell. I don't think Stephan Shaw ever really did that, because you see the thing with Efe Ajagba, I do believe he can be put in his shell if he's hit hard enough. Anyway, Stephan Shaw probably he should be disappointed he didn't go for it a bit more in the fight, because that was his chance. He was saying, you know, that's his chance. I know that he doesn't, financially, there are some financial problems that doesn't allow him to box the way he would want to box. I don't think he trains all the time with his coach because of money. That's that's unfortunate. It's the financial situation he finds himself in. Not all boxers are going to be financially backed to the same level, so he's obviously having to, it's a financial strain on him. Could he have gone for it more? I still think he could have gone for it a bit more, but either way, he didn't put on a terrible performance. Perhaps he's going to get some fights at the back of this. Who knows? Let's see what happens. But either way, Efe Ajagba moves on. So is that the best win? I think that's probably the best win of his career. That or Jonathan Rice. He gets that win, he moves on. So who should Efe Ajagba fight next? He's now beaten an unbeaten prospect. He already did that actually with Demarism, but from now, is there a potential for him to maybe fight someone in the top 10? He should aim for Anthony Joshua, someone like that, Anthony Joshua, or I don't know, Anthony Joshua. Who else could he aim for? I'm trying to think who's around sort of in the heavyweight division that is a step up. Anthony Joshua. Who's in and around? Because I don't think he's ready for Fury. I don't think he's ready for Usyk. Maybe Daniel Dubois. That'd be a good fight. Efe Ajagba versus Daniel Dubois. That'd be a good fight. Perhaps he could get that for the regular title. Those are the type of fights that he should be looking for. And then see where he's at. So anyway, and Stephan, sure, he can come again, but I think if he's gonna, really contend at the top of the heavyweight division, he's gonna have to work on that aggression a little bit. So, what did you make of the fight? What did you make of, the scorecards, and where do both fights go from here? Like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, hit the notification bell so you get a notification when I make a new video, and I'll see you on the next video.